Just your thoughts on how difficult this deal was to put together with all of the various different moving parts and how long you were working at it.
Yeah, it was obviously difficult because, we got some cap flexibility through the deal, plus we added, I think, two real good players to our team. So we've been working on it for a couple weeks. It was hard. The hard part for me, obviously, was trading the 9th pick overall, but I just feel like our team needs to take the next step, and, adding a top pairing defenseman and a top 6 forward is something that we talked about was on our wish list to start off. So to be able to do that, plus, get rid of some contracts, I'm happy we got the deal done.
I think it's fair to say that Oliver has had a dip in play over the last couple of years. What do you see in his game that leads you to believe he can get back to being the kind of defenseman he was earlier in his career?
Yeah, I think, he was looking for a fresh start, and, he's excited to be coming into a hockey market that, the fans are really excited and, passionate about the team. He's excited to be part of our good young group of players that we've assembled so far. So, I talked to him about an hour ago, and, he's really looking forward to coming in to play for the team. And he's going to be, like, besides, what he'll do on the ice for us, he'll be a top pairing guy, can play a lot of minutes, PP, PK, can be a matchup guy playing against the other team's top lines. He's going to be a good mentor for our young players because, he was a high draft pick. He's gone through it. And so I think, his overall, what he's going to bring to our whole team is going to be immense, as far as from in the dressing room to help mentor our young players and what he does on the ice.
Okay, we'll take our next question here from Thomas Drance, The Athletic. Thomas, go ahead.
Jim, does this trade and bringing in a player of Conor Garland and Ekman-Larsson's caliber, does this elevate your expectations for your team next season?
Well, like we said all off season, we want to be active. We want to be aggressive. We want to try to make our team more competitive. And, I think through adding, a player before the expansion draft in Jason Dickinson and the moves we made today, we want to continue to work. We have, the draft here coming up. We have free agency coming up. So we're going to continue to work hard to keep all of our options open and, try to make the team better for next season.
How important was it for you fundamentally to reallocate salary cap space from Eriksson, Roussel, and Beagle into players that could perhaps contribute more value to your club next year?
Well, I think it was huge. And, we didn't take lightly moving that 9th pick overall in the draft. That was a hard decision to make, but, we just looked at, everything that we could accomplish by doing it. And so, we made the decision as a hockey ops group to go ahead and do it. So, but like I said, like part of this whole reasoning is that we got to take the next step as a team, and we have to make our team better going into next season.
We'll take our next question from Patrick Johnston, Post Media.
Jim, just to go back to the question of Ekman-Larsson's performance, what is it you see in him that tells you that he can get back to being the player he was, 3 years ago?
Well, I think, like for defensemen, like good defensemen, he's a real good skater, first of all. He's a smart player. I think that he's still, 30 years old. So I think he's going to have another 5-6 good years left in him. Now, is he going to score like he did when he was younger? I think, he'll have better season scoring than maybe he did the last couple years, but it's going to be everything that he brings to our group. Like I said earlier, like he plays in all situations. And, we just feel like he's got the foundation, his skating, hockey sense, size, strength. He plays with a bit of an edge. So, we're excited. We think he's going to be our number one defenseman. Quinn will be better for us acquiring Ekman-Larsson. because he can play now in a different kind of role. He doesn't have to play against the other team's top lines and stuff. So I just think it puts everybody in their place where they should be playing, and it makes our team better.
And then just looking at Garland, I talked to his agent before we spoke with you, and he was, ecstatic about the move and really basically brought up Travis Green as being a big factor in all this. He's really excited to see what Conor can do for Travis Green. What's your reaction to hearing something like that?
Well, I talked to Conor too. He's good friends with Jack Rathbone. First of all, they skated this morning, and he's super excited too to be joining our team. And he sees the other young skilled players we have, and they're kind of in around his age group, and he's excited to be joining our group. So he's a kid that competes hard on the puck, works, relentless worker, has good skill. And his work ethic's going to rub off on all of our other guys. And, to add a top 6 forward, I think is going to make our team better.
Our next question comes from Farhan Lalji, TSN.
Jim, when you look at the contracts that are being paid to your defensemen right now before the Quinn Hughes re-signing, you've got over $19 million in Ekman-Larsson, Myers, and Schmidt. How does that affect what's going to happen potentially with Nate Schmidt going forward? Is there a chance that you see him as a possible pairing guy with Ekman-Larsson, or do the dollars make it harder to keep him here?
Well, that's, he's part of our team. He's part of our group. I'm going to continue to try to make the team better. And so, there's teams that seem like they're interested in him. And, if that's what it takes to make the team better, then I'm going to look at that. That's our goal going into the off season here is we want to be a stronger team, a deeper team, a faster team. And so we're going to look at all of our options, and maybe it's even just recovering some picks now that we've lost. So we'll continue to work at that and see where it goes.
And as far as the center position, with Beagle now gone, does it change what you decide to do with maybe a Brandon Sutter or even a Boyd?
Yeah, I guess, we haven't had much time to think about that. But, I talked to Brandon a couple days ago, and, maybe, there's a fit there for him now.
Next up, we'll go to Ben Kuzma, Post Media.
Hey, Jim, a couple of draft related questions from me. Obviously, you have a second round pick tomorrow at number 41. You don't have a pick in the 3rd or 4th. Are you going to do anything here in the short term to try to recoup any picks this year?
Yeah, I'm trying, Ben. We've worked at it all day today. We're going to continue to work at it tonight. I don't know if, we'll recover picks in this year or next year's draft, but that's our goal right now, is to recover some picks.
And a follow-up from me, Jim. We talked earlier about how difficult this year was scouting-wise. And once you get to round 3, a lot of it was by video. Is there more pressure on Todd Harvey and his gang to do something in 5, 6, or 7? Or do you look at it as a more opportunistic situation in the later rounds where you can maybe find somebody?
I think, we're going to be relying on our area scouts that, know those particular players, since they've been kids growing up, or they have a good feel for a guy. I think we've had enough live viewings that we feel comfortable getting good players in those rounds. So, I'm confident that we're going to draft some good players.
Next up is Ian McIntyre, Sportsnet.
Hi, Jim. From your perspective, is the greater risk in this trade for your team what Ekman-Larsson might look like 4 or 5 years from now and what you're paying him, or is the greater risk just giving up that 9th pick and what that player might turn into?
Well, I guess, the possibility is the 9th pick, and what that player can grow into. But like I've said, this last hour, we have a lot of good young players on our team. And, we need to take the next step as a team and, win our share of hockey games. And, we're a young team still. We got 4 or 5 guys that are, any from 23 and under. So we're still a young team. Those players are going to continue to grow and get better. And like I said, we're going to try to, recover some picks here, and we're going to draft good players, and we're going to develop them, and there'll be the next wave of players coming in after our current groups. We've had success with them, and after they've, if we can't re-sign them and we get more picks, the circle of life, I guess I'd call it.
And having come this far with Louis, he had only 1 year to go on that really onerous contract. It was also only 1 year, obviously, for Antoine and Jay Beagle as well. How tempted were you just to ride it out for one more year and just kind of take that pain, or did you just not see that as an option?
Well, I think this gives us cap flexibility to go do some other things to make our team better, as you've seen in the deal today. So, talk to Jay Beagle. That was a hard call because he was an important guy in our dressing room and with our young players and in our group. I love playing in Vancouver. I think, sometimes you don't always see the contributions that players make, until you're inside the dressing room. And I think, his imprint on the Bo Horvats and some of our guys is going to, be felt here going forward, because he was a good team player and he helped, with the professionalism and the development of our young players.
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions here. We'll go first to Barry DeLay, Global Sports.
Hi, Jim. A couple from me. First of all, on Ekman-Larsson, I mean, his plus minus numbers have not been very good the last few years for sure. Why are you convinced he won't be a liability defensively for you as he comes to join this team?
Well, I think, he's a smart two-way player. Like he's a guy that, he can carry the puck up ice. He's got a great shot from the blue line, but, he's competitive in his own end. So, we're excited to get him because he plays against the best players in the league. And, I don't exactly know why his plus minus wasn't good the last couple of years, but I expect it to be better with us going forward.
And also with Connor, his numbers are very good over 3 years, kind of extrapolated to about a 22 goal pace. What realistically are you thinking he can get for you in your top 6?
Well, he's going to have lots of opportunity. He's going to play, with good players. I guess it'll be, how, he kind of finds his niche, playing. I don't know if he'll play on the first line or the second line, but, he's a guy that makes other players around him better. So, I'm like really excited to be able to acquire a top 6 forward that can come in and help us right now. And he's still a young player. Like this is, I think, a real good move for our group here.
We'll take our final question now from Gemma Karsten-Smith, Canadian Press.
Hi, Jim. I'm wondering if you can talk about how negotiations for Oliver Ekman-Larsson differed this year from last year.
I think there was more willingness from maybe Arizona to move him at this point. Last year, we were in on him. We talked to them, didn't really go anywhere. I think this year, with the whole package, as kind of what we were offering, they're kind of in a rebuilding mode. That pick was real important to them, and I just felt like this was a year that they wanted to figure something out with us to get a deal done.
And can you speak to whether or not Arizona is retaining any of his salary?
Yeah, they're going to be retaining 12% of his salary.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll have to wrap there. Thanks to Canucks General Manager Jim Benning for joining us this afternoon. We're going to briefly end the call there, and we'll return very shortly with Canucks forward Conor Garland, so please stay tuned.